Your new album, I've had the pleasure of listening to a bit this afternoon, but it's not coming out for a few
Right.
months. Is it fully mastered and the
Yeah.
artwork is done?
Yeah, we just actually finished the master like 10 days ago. So I don't know what kind of version they sent you yet, but it's just freshly baked, basically. We just finished the mastering right before we came to the United States.
Now, the first song on the album is a prologue. It's an instrumental piece that's almost like an overture. When in the process of making the album did you write that?
We had this piece of music that Marco came up to, and we thought we could have been a good intro for the live show, actually, because we always have an instrumental intro, then we access the stage on the live performances. But then Christina had the idea; she really liked the melody, so she came up with the melody for the vocals, and so we decided. It sounded so good; it's almost like a short mini song. So we decided to use it as an intro to do something a little different than what we always done. So we never had a proper intro like that, like almost a song. So we decided to try, and it worked some lyrics for it, and it fit very well the mood. I think that for the introduction of the record, that is quite a heavy record overall. So it was cool to have something soft to start with and dark to create the atmosphere to set the mood, and then blasting some more heavy songs right after. So we thought it was a good idea. So we decided to have an intro and also an outro at the end.
And for this new record, right now you are in New York City doing a lot of press and a couple of performances. When you were performing in New York City, is it the same set that you perform in Europe and Japan? Like, were all the same songs hits in all the same places?
No, just these specific two shows we've done here in New York. They were for the what we call the 119 show, which was the anniversary show we did in London last year for the 20th anniversary of the band that we filmed also for the DVD that we put out last year. So that specific two shows, we mixed up a little bit the set list from the London show, because London show was like 2.5 hours, so it was super long. So we made like a two version of it with 4 or 5 different pieces for every night, and basically based from the very early first EP of the band to the latest Delirium album. So it's been a career spamming, let's say, type of set with a circus. I don't know if you've seen the DVD or some images from the DVD, but we had like a full circus performance with us on ropes and fire and dancers. So we did a mini version of that and brought it to America because we thought it was important for us to celebrate also with our American crowd that has been always very supportive of the band. So it was very good for us to come here and do it also for our American fans.
Is it going to be the same lead single for everywhere in the world, or does that change from country to country?
I think the first single, Layers of Time, is going to be the same everywhere because it's sort of the heavy track that resume a little bit of all the moods you're going to find in the album, like the more epic vocals from Christina, the more rhythmical, harsh parts from myself. So it's a portrait of the overall sound of the record. Then maybe here in America, usually there's more working towards the radio because you still have a lot of radios for rock and metal music. While in Europe, that's missing a little bit. So it still works more towards the touring and the magazines or websites, more of a traditional kind of promo. So I think in America, maybe there will be a little more radio singles compared to Europe.
And being, 20 years into your career now, you now have done the world tour thing, I believe, 6, 7 times now. Does it get old,
Yeah.
or is it still as fun as it always was?
No, it's still fun. Otherwise, we wouldn't do another record and put all the effort it takes to write, record, promote. So if we do that, it's because we really want to be out here and playing for the fans and meeting the people all over the world. Plus, every time you discover something new or you play some new places that you haven't before, so we're looking forward to territories we haven't been in Asia or like New Zealand, for example, we've never been. Maybe Africa, because we never play Africa. It's the only continent where we never play, so maybe South Africa could be a gig for this time. So it's always interesting and nice to see and meet friends all over the world you met for many years. So, but you just see them during the album cycle. So it's a cool experience that we love to do again.
And very early into your career, you guys were winning awards like the MTV Europe Music Awards and the Revolver Golden Gods Awards and all that.
Yeah.
Is that your proudest accomplishment, the awards, or is there something else that you're most proud of?
No, obviously it's always nice to win an award, and it's a pleasure. But obviously, it's because it's sort of a recognition of the hard work for many years, you know. So it's important, but it's not vital. I think what's really important is the legacy that you create with the fans. You know, that's something that's gonna stay forever in your heart, in their heart. And as much as we help them with our music, they also help us coming to the show and supporting the band. And so when we think about our career, we cannot avoid to think about the fans. So I think the legacy with the fans is the main thing, and then the awards are also a nice surrounding that it's perfect and it's welcome, but it's not the most important thing for us.
Right. Well, do any of the awards mean anything more than the others, or really it is just all about the fans and the music for you?
No, I mean it's always a pleasure because it's somebody rewarding you for your work. So they recognize your will to do something positive and something creative. So it's always important. It's great to have it maybe in some territories like the UK, for example, because it's been such an iconic place for rock music. Almost it was born between the UK and America. So when we got awards from these places, it always means a lot because they're kind of the birthplace of this style of music, you know. So it's great to be recognized where this is made, you know.
And who were some of the bands that made you want to pick up a guitar in the first place?
Growing up, probably I would say Pantera and Type O Negative. Some of the '90s, early '90s bands, Paradise Lost. They were all influencing us. Korn. All those bands really wanted us to go towards a more heavy and sometimes dark sound that then forged our own style as Lacuna Coil. So it's been growing up. I think that those were the most influential times, like around the beginning to mid '90s, that's where we decided what kind of direction we were gonna have for our style.
And were there a lot of Italian bands that were especially influential, or did you have to look outside of Italy to get great hard rock?
No, mostly out of Italy. There were a few bands, but at the underground level that were playing around and giving us inspiration, but mostly it was looking out to American or English band or sometimes Swedish or German, because Italy has always been a place more for melodic music, so there's not such a great history of bands coming out of Italy playing rock and metal, you know, so it's more for melodic, traditional music, so it's always been a bit of a struggle for us to bring it in our own country. Although I have to say in the recent times, we've been growing and growing, getting more of the mainstream attention, so it's been becoming a very good territory also, but we needed to build it, you know, because there was no history. If you take, for example, Germany, they got bands from the 80s like Halloween or Scorpions, or a band nowadays like Rammstein that have always made an international impact. While if you think about Italy, there's nothing like that, and at least not in metal music.
And when you come to New York City, where so many people are of Italian heritage, but they're mispronouncing the names of great Italian food, does it make you laugh all these years later when you hear people saying things like mozzarella?
No, it's okay. You know, it's just funny. It's a bastardized, let's say, version of what we have. But it's great that they try at least to keep the legacy going. You know, although I think it's his own beast. Like the American Italian cuisine, it's his own animal. You know, it's not something in between the flavors we have in Italy and the flavors you have here in the United States. So yeah, some stuff is cool, some stuff is not so cool, but at least they try to keep it alive, and we appreciate that. But it's funny. It's fun. Sometimes it's pretty funny.
And then looking ahead at your new album, does anything have to happen in particular for it to feel successful for you, or is just getting it out into the world success into itself?
No, I mean, it's always for us. There's always some ambition, you know, behind everything we do. So it's important for us that the album gets recognized, and since the lyrical is like a bit better than the one before, in times where it's so hard to get better because of the changing of the way music is perceived by people, you know. So we've sold more copies than the one before. So hopefully we're gonna make it even better and going a bit against the trend, you know, that people not supporting music anymore or just streaming music. We would like to reach a goal where we still actually can sell some music. Although I know it's not easy, you know, but it's been possible with Delirium, so maybe it would be possible also with this new Black Anima.
Great. So in closing, any last words for the kids?
Yeah, I hope everybody check out our website, lacunacoil.com. You can find all the tour dates. We're coming in back in September to the United States with all the remains, North America, not only United States, also Canada. And then we're back to Europe, and then we come back again, I'm sure, either in the spring or in the summer for festivals. So keep an eye open and listen to Black Anima. Give it a chance.